don't wanna cry. Wanna cry.
The MPI Cup Series race to the playoffs is well underway, but everyone needs a break now and then, and the MPI Cup Series All-Star Race is just that. The Dallara DW12 IndyCar chassis, the brand new scan of Texas Motor Speedway, 100 laps of racing, and every driver in the series is willing to show up to throw down in the Lone Star State. Hi, welcome to PitStop TV and the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Emerson Arden and Ed Scherer alongside. And Emerson, I know Texas is literally close to home for you, but each trip here is definitely menacing with the new repave reconfiguration, but even more so with these Dallara DW12 Indy cars that we're racing in tonight.
Absolutely, it's going to be a wild night. These DW12s, they race completely different to what we're used to in the IR18. It's going to be a fun time to kind of get a little bit of a throwback to these literal open wheel, open cockpit Indy cars at the new configuration of Texas, because I think we had very minimal examples, if any, with this car. So this will be a fun night, a little bit of an unknown, and yeah, the way they're racing around here, seen a lot of packs in practice. This could be a wild one.
Yeah, if this combo was even used in real racing, I think it was once or twice maybe. We were talking about it a little while ago. It wasn't much. It wasn't used much. It was not a frequently seen combo. Only once or twice in between the Texas repave and the Dallara chassis change for the IndyCar series. So this is kind of rarefied air for this car and track to be together, but we're definitely happy to have this combination this evening, although a little bit different, admittedly, for the MPI Cup Series. This is definitely, as JP would say, a spanner in the mix for the schedule, but the good thing is, hey, no points count tonight. We are here just for fun at the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. You can see this place looks fantastic with the updates that iRacing has done here to match what has been done in recent years, the new repave, all of the new graphics around the track and everything. It looks fantastic. And Emerson, as far as the actual shape of the track, it doesn't look too different. In fact, it's the same profile from the overhead, but it's the corners and the widths that have changed. Turns 1 and 2 flatter and wider. Turns 3 and 4 still the same banking, still the same width, or actually maybe even narrowed up. So really just changes in the corners.
Yeah, I believe 3 and 4 were left pretty much alone. They just got a fresh coat of pavement over there. It's 1 and 2 that we really saw most of the changes. It's flattened out, of course, for the issues they had with drying the track with rain and all that. But of course, it brings a whole different type of racing, and it's kind of different. It combines a couple mile and a halves. You think of maybe like Kentucky and Kansas, mix them into one. And this is what we get here at Texas with the very flat and wide 1 and 2, and they're going to be wide open in 3 and 4. And 1 and 2, you can really push in these cars. It's going to be intriguing to see how much they're going to be willing to maybe work up the track in 1 and 2.
You know, what's interesting about this is it feels like 1 and 2 are almost a higher bank Kentucky, as you said, and then maybe 3 and 4 are almost a bit more like Charlotte, where it's still higher banks, a little more narrow, and of course you have the quad oval on the front stretch. So it's a weird mesh of racetracks, and even with the pit exit the way it is now, it definitely feels a bit more like Kentucky in turns 1 and 2. Everything is just, it's different. It's definitely different. As far as iRacing fast laps here, in an Indy car, the new one, the IR18, the fastest lap is a 23.776. We won't quite be hitting that tonight. Best lap so far in practice, a 24.971. But still quick, still under any NASCAR times, into that 24-second bracket, and definitely moving here at Indy, or not at Indy, here in Indy cars in Texas, in speeds of excess of 220 miles an hour even before the corners. So we're definitely going quick. Let's talk quickly about the standings in this series. I know this is an exhibition race, so you know we don't want to get too bogged down with all of that, Emerson, but this is a look at the point standings coming into next week, really, at Charlotte Motor Speedway, leaving Kansas last week. Of course, Lawson Peel getting a second win on the season. This actually promotes him up, and this is just on points alone, not even figuring in seeding for the playoffs. He's up into 5th now, and remember, when we first took over coverage of this series, he was down around 15th, so he's definitely moved well up the order. Austin Reedy, on the other hand, dropping way down. He's into 8th. Even Warren Keith has dropped down the order, although I think he's gotten himself back onto the left side of these standings from the right. So a lot is moving around, a lot is changing. Muscarella's dropped down behind Joe Sanchez with his botch attempt at fuel strategy last week at Kansas, although it was still a valiant effort. And that cut line battle has completely changed. Now Dakota Curtis is into the top 16. Granted, Zach Wilson would still take that 16th spot as of now. So Dakota Curtis really is racing to Austin Shoemaker from the cutoff.
Yeah, absolutely. We love how crazy things are getting. I think this is a nice mental break for those
Yes.
drivers, especially right there around that cut line. Kind of let loose, have fun on a Sunday night. You can get back to, I mean, they're still probably hard at work. I'm sure a lot of drivers welcome maybe the extra practice he got throughout the week. And as far as Lawson Peel, I believe he was down near the 30s actually when we picked up coverage before
He was down
he
there.
won at Coda. It's nutty the run Lawson Peel has been on. I know he's still 139 back of Mario Miranda. And I know that's gonna be a tough hill to overcome, but to be fifth is nutty.
Yeah, no, he was way down there when we took over coverage at Coda. The trek for Lawson through the standings has been pretty phenomenal, and you can see he's maybe even gained on Mario Miranda these last few races. Only 139 points back, and I feel like he was certainly further back than that when we took over coverage. So props seriously to Car 53. He has been fantastic. Think back to Dover and even Darlington. He's been a name that we've been talking about for quite a bit. So props to him there. The team standings are quite interesting as well. If you look at the Auto Tempest team standings at this point in the season, Drinking Bros Racing off and away with the lead, but look at Prestige Worldwide and Podium Esports, 2 points apart, and positions are changing within the top four, really just second, third, and fourth, but they're moving around, and Sega Keith Motorsports is not that far back. It feels like they're out of things currently. They're certainly one of the more, I guess, backseat teams for the moment, but there's still a lot of season to turn that around, and they're not too far back when you consider it as a team standing.
Absolutely not. When you think of teams, you got to think there's more pieces to the puzzle. There's definitely, I mean, even if your best driver has an off day, there's still other drivers to come and pick up the slack. And we still have so many races to go. We're gonna see again maybe the teams that are coercively working better on the more, like we keep calling it, the meat and potatoes of the NASCAR schedule. We'll see these guys really start to tighten up and see if they can take it to Drinking Bros Racing.
So with the Auto Tempest team standings wrapped up, they're qualifying on track, and the guy we were just talking about, Emerson, Lawson Peel, is looking quick. He is first on the boards, currently in qualifying at a time of 25.313. Now that's not all that quick compared to what we saw in practice, but of course these guys out here on their own as opposed to in a draft. Here's Chris Progar.
And Chris Progar here in his number 17 machine. He was up there. He was third in practice, so he's got a lot of speed coming into this race. We'll see what he can do single car wise. It's fourth right now out of the 9 times. And Progar, I believe these Indy cars maybe get a little bit faster on that second lap because you're more up to speed. We'll have to see. How about Alex Moscarella, though?
Moscarella down to the apron. He will abort his second attempt, it looks like. Here's Ryan Kendall in the pit lane. Garrett Brown goes up to third on the board in the number 16 car. So looking quick for Garrett. Let's go on board. And this is a throwback, seeing an open cockpit for an Indy car. This takes me back right here.
Absolutely. And
ooh, Harlow to the pole.
Wow, how about a 2 1,000s?
And he immediately backs it down. That was lap 2.
Certainly, and Ross Harlow, he was in the top 10 in practice, so not entirely surprising here. What I'm also looking to see here is looking what gears these drivers are running. This is the fourth gear run for Dakota Curtis. Is he up to speed?
He just turned a lap. This is lap number 2 for Dakota, so I think this seems to be full out for Dakota. Fifth gear in 3 and 4. Interesting. Sixth up on the front stretch. I'm not entirely surprised he wraps up that run and goes, he'll go to fourth. Good run out of Dakota right there. But I'm not entirely surprised that we're seeing lower gears in 1 and 2, even fourth there for Swavely. It is a lot flatter. It has definitely changed the game, and these are cars that, as we theorize, only race here once or twice in the real world. I'm not surprised we're seeing these guys down to fourth gear in 1 and 2.
And that's a fair point. I'm actually looking at, what we got right now. Richard Swavely. Another 2 1,000ths of a second. Look at those top 3 times.
Jeez, this is insane. And I mean, Justin Erb isn't even far back. Gordon Keith. The whole top 5 within 3 100ths of a second of each other. Here's Richard Swavely for lap number 2. Where does he go? Well, can he go any faster, really? He's already on top of the board. He does not go faster in his second lap. He will, just go a little bit slower. Austin Reedy on track, though. We'll see what he can do. These are fantastic times. This is really going to be a fun race up in the front, I think. Some guys from the back going to deal with some aero pushing. Look at even 6th through 10th, Emerson. Literally separated by a 10th and a half.
It's wild how competitive these guys are.
Ooh, wall there for Reedy.
Oh man, it's gonna hurt the front end, the right front suspension. He'll go ahead and park it and reset. But that's huge. We're not even wide open around here. I know they're gonna try to get wide open. We saw you saw Dakota Curtis dropping down the 4th gear. These guys are having to perfect their lap and we're back close.
Watch the telemetry here. Watch the revs into 1 and 2. He's going to lift right there. Gets out of the throttle, drops down to 4th gear to help the car turn. And then, of course, it helps on acceleration as well. Back up out of the corner and goes back up into 5th gear. So this is on board with Brian Curry. Still got 4.5 minutes in this qualifying session. We're looking at guys like Charles Phelps, Travis Stevens, Joseph Mahar, Brandon Banks, Ray Rogers, and Cody Kinsey to still make an attempt. Looks like Austin Reedy wrapping his up as Curry will begin his first. Begin his second flying lap, goes to 6th. Wow.
220 for Curry. You know what? He's kind of in between Keith and Curtis there in terms of times. If you were to split the top 5 and the next 5 into groups, he's finding himself kind of right in the middle there. But Curry up towards the 210. This looks like he was 216 across the line last time, 217 across the line that time.
And his second lap keeps him exactly in 6th position. He will go no further up the board. His second lap was actually less than 2/100ths of a second off of his first lap. So these guys are insanely close so far. And it looks like that might do it for drivers taking an attempt. We might be sitting here for 3 minutes. While we are sitting here then, Emerson, it's good to talk about the weather conditions for this race. 67 degrees in the air, 123 on the track. It's hot in Texas.
Yeah, it is, and in sim it is May, so the sun is starting to beam down hot here in Fort Worth.
And I think that was the goal. I was surprised when I saw a noon time of day. I think that's the goal, is to make the track hot and make these guys have to lift and really race the track.
Certainly, and I think the hotter track temp, while it's not going to do wonders for it, it might make it a little easier on corner exits, especially out of turn 2. Because the cooler track would actually allow these guys to really tighten up here and the draft easier, I guess, which would allow for a lot more aero push out of turn 2. So the fact that these guys are going to be a little bit more, I guess, in it with themselves in these cars and having to fight the track might help a little bit with that aero push out of 2. We'll have to see.
I think car-to-car racing will be a little bit easier here with the hotter track, but car-to-track racing will certainly be a little more difficult. These guys will have to be more up on the wheel, I think, and that's difficult in an IndyCar. You can't just muscle an IndyCar around anywhere, so definitely going to have to be careful in some aspects, but I think you're right. It's going to alleviate some of the car-to-car battle issues that we see sometimes with IndyCars, and being so close, inches apart at 220 miles an hour is always tough, as Joseph Mahar tags the inside apron there in 1 and 2, but otherwise, beginning his qualifying run.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be against Mahar. Well, he's not, but I wouldn't have been against him running that high side 3 and 4, get another attempt at a flyer here. So Mahar's going to stick with it, and he'll go at it for attempt number 2 here. And what I was trying to think of earlier, I guess, is looking at the front wing of these DW12s compared to the IR18s. It's a lot more simpler, I guess. I guess the wing on the ovals, I don't know.
I think the car as a whole is a bit more simple as far as the wings themselves go, but then you get to the side pods and especially, what do they even call them? The rear pods on these cars? That's a lot more complicated and just gets a little more interesting, as Joseph Mahar goes to 4th on the board, literally a quarter of a tenth? Yeah, a quarter of a tenth off of Richard Swavely. We are looking at some tight margins there. He's 1/1000th ahead of Justin Erb, who joined our commentary coverage, by the way, for the IORL Indianapolis 500. Big shout out to Justin and Parker, who joined on for social media coverage. But, man, they are close in that top 10.
Well, Mahar took him to school. I thought, this is probably not going to be his greatest run with how he hit the apron in 1 and 2, but I guess I
think he's backing down. I was going to point out, honestly, 5th gear might be okay in a run. We do have a 100-lap race tonight. The format for this evening, very simple, 100 laps, go race. Really nothing to it as far as, strategy. Just go and run as long as you can in each run and try to be to the finish line first. I'm sure we'll get a yellow or two. But Emerson, I really wonder if 5th gear might be a more viable option as the race goes on in 1 and 2, just to keep the revs down, keep from burning too much fuel.
Certainly, and if you're really looking at fuel mileage, if you're in a pack, it might just be 6th gear all the way around if you're talking about fuel mileage. Now, if you're not in the pack, you're going to have to adjust for that as well. But it's certainly, I think fourth gear maybe just kind of a hot lap gear. If I mean, IndyCar is all about fuel saving, so I'd imagine a lot of these guys that are keen to that are going to take right away to fuel saving strategies.
So Alex Muscarelli is going to win. Is that what you're saying?
Well, he got a lot of good practice last week, but he's still 6 laps short.
Before we take to the grid today and check out your starting positions for each of these drivers, I want to point out a stat that I noticed today in preparation for this race. And I'm really going to hammer this home next week at Charlotte, but I really also want to mention it today. Looking at each of the last 3 points race winners here in the MPI Cup Series, they all started second. That's Mario Miranda at Dover, Steven Stempien at Darlington, and Kansas, Lawson Peel last week at Kansas. Each one of them started second. Now, if you look at our front row, Ross Harlow is starting second. Now, I don't know if that trend continues tonight, and even if it doesn't continue tonight, I think that's still a continuing trend we talk about at Charlotte for sure. But if it does continue tonight, boy, Ross Harlow's in for a good one, and I'm sure I'm jinxing it right now, so I'll give him a little knock on wood. But very interesting. We've had 3 races in a row where the winner has come from second place in the starting grid. No other race had the second place starter won until Dover, when Mario Miranda went to victory lane. Anyways, we'll see if that continues as Ross Harlow starts from second alongside Richard Swavely, your pole sitter. Starting third, Lawson Peel in car 53, last week's winner. He'll be the reigning winner still through this week into Charlotte as far as points races go. Joseph Mahar will start from fourth. Justin Erb, who joined our commentary team, big shout out to him, alongside his Sega Keith teammate there in Warren Keith in the 6th spot. Brian Curry rolls off fourth, then Dakota Curtis, Garrett Brown, and Justin Hendry. How about that for a top 10 start? We'll round up our top 10.
Looking back to P11, it'll be the 40th of Alex Muscarella, who was really getting after with the fuel saving last week at Kansas. Is tonight going to be his night? To his outside will be the 17th of Chris Progar. Back to row number 7, it'll be the 6th of Dustin Reeves. The 68 of Ryan Kendall will be in the 14th position. Row number 8, it'll be the 3 of James Kunkel. The 43 of Sean Kalis, he will start 16th. Back to the 17th position in row number 9, it'll be the 29 of Curtis Kelly. And the 01 of Parker Bland in 18th. And back to row number 10, it'll be the 4, Chris Shoemaker, the 96 of Austin Reedy.
Starting 21st, Bill Schoonover in car number 9. 22nd starting spot goes to Austin Shoemaker, just ahead of Kip Easley and Ray Rogers. Brandon Banks will start from the 25th position with Cody Kinsey there in 26th in row 13. And your final row this evening at Texas Motor Speedway will be made up with Travis Stevens and Charles Phelps. It looks like Stevens is not taking to the grid. Charles Phelps, though, has reported in the 28th starting position. So you're looking at a realistically IndyCar-sized field, actually. 28 cars is not completely out of reality. It's a little more than you would get for an oval like Texas, but still a decently realistic IndyCar-sized field, I feel like, for Texas Motor Speedway. This is going to be a fun one tonight. Of course, any driver being allowed in. There's no restrictions. And, 100 laps, just go race. I like it.
Absolutely cannot wait. And of course, double wide, 14 rows deep. These guys, this draft is real. I know they've been in groups, but have they been in groups of 27, 28 cars? We're about to find out what is that like as they rumble down to turn number 1.
The last time they would have been in a group like this, Daytona. You know who won that race? Austin Reedy. So we'll see if Austin maybe has a little something on these guys. He is starting 20th tonight. Well deep in that field in that bright blue, almost teal colored number 96. I heard a bit of a crunch there. Hopefully nobody's in too much trouble, but as the field works out of turns 3 and 4, they will get lit up and ready to go racing at the Texas Motor Speedway. Richard Swavely in control of the field as we work down to the restart zone. And 100 laps for the MPI Cup Series All-Star Race begins now. Up out of turn number 4, and 1 lap goes complete. Harlow to the lead, and a side-by-side for third between Peel and Erb.
Going at side-by-side up on the high side, trying to see what they can do up there. Again, that bottom line is preferred line, but up off the corner, it looks like Peel will get that advantage down the back. And in the 3 and 4, they're going to be side by side. Actually, looks like Herb will pull ahead.
What a shot that was from Peel's car. Side by side now just behind Curry and Keith. And Warren Kyle Keith having to give that spot up for the moment. On board here with car 42.
Look at him. He's going to try to get this run off the corner, try to dive down to the inside, try to get himself that inside position. In the 3, he can't get down there. He's going to fall back in and see what he can do in the slipstream. My guess would be he tried to work his way back into that position next time down the back straight.
You can see already the aero push is big here at Texas Motor Speedway. These guys struggling with just trying to find some grip in the corners all over the place. Some big moves back here. Justin Hendry up the racetrack in car number 11. Oh, these guys are really moving around 3 wide up out of the corner. I think that's actually Hendry in the middle. And is that Kendall down low in the 68?
Trying to see what he can get down there. This is a little ways back, going on for that 11th position, but it's Hendry with the advantage there at the line. He has the high side to 1 vote. It's Reeves on the bottom side. Hendry still trying to keep it to that outside.
Kunkel gets passed up there by Ryan Kendall. Reeves and Hendry battling ahead of him. You can see that off into turns 3 and 4. This racetrack is alive right now with these guys battling all over. Justin Reeves just behind Justin Hendry. Meanwhile, further to the front, Dakota Curtis has made some moves. He's ahead of Warren Kyle Keith now in the 7th spot, but behind Joseph Mahar. Props to Mahar so far. He's been holding really well in this top 10, and I think even up a couple of spots. No, actually down a couple, but he was much lower in this top 10, I thought, just a couple of laps ago. Low as 7th, I guess, working back up from 7th to 6th, but not doing too bad there in car 19.
It's been a great recovery for Joseph so far, and that's kind of the perks of it being in the pack. You're able to kind of quickly make up those positions as everybody is grouped up together. You see Warren now looking, try to see if he can make that move all over the rear end there. He's actually falling behind Muscarella. So Muscarella's been on the charge, and he's actually, Muscarella's pulling away from Keith here. Keith is kind of in a little bit of a slow free fall right now, trying to see maybe if he's saving his stuff, maybe he'll roar back to life. Got a yellow on the speedway.
Brandon Banks in trouble. Among others, it looks like Kip Keesley is stuck in the wall. Oh my goodness. Well, if you ever wanted to see inside of an iRacing safer barrier, you had a moment right there. That is a big one.
That one's huge.
That is the definition of the big one, I think. At least for one car. Here's Kip Easley in car 27. We'll see how he gets to that predicament here in a moment. Brandon Banks, that car just ahead in car 54. And one car got the apron and they all checked up. That was Sean Kalis.
Oh, there's nowhere to go. Oh, nearly up and over for Kip Easley.
Okay.
That airtime and positioning, God, that's so reminiscent to the big wreck here a few years ago.
Yeah, you're right there. I can't help but chuckle just a little bit at this crash, at least for Kip, at least at the end. He gets into Brandon Banks at the Kalis mistake, and then just the way in which he gets into that predicament is so odd. By no means should he be stuck in that wall. I can't help but chuckle a little bit.
Unfortunately, he'd have to take the tow, but at that, hitting the wall like that without getting stuck, he would have broken off the right front suspension. He probably would have had to ended up taking the tow, nonetheless. But that one hurts.
The unfortunate thing for Kip is he had only just let Sean go by in 1 and 2. This is the mistake for Sean Kalis. He just got the white line. And you know what? I did that quite a few times in preparation for this event, just running some laps of my own. I can't even blame him.
It's so easy to do. It just sucks what happened to Easley and Brandon Banks. They had no part of it. And that's unfortunate. That's how quickly things can happen in racing. But in these Indy cars, when you're going 210 miles an hour in the middle of the corner.
Your first taker to the pit lane, Ray Rogers in car 18. Austin Shoemaker follows, and very short pit stops for both. Chris Shoemaker in as well. They're already up and out of the pit lane, but drivers that are still in, there's Sean Kalis just now leaving James Kunkel as well in car number 3. He was in there for 30 seconds in the pit box, and Kip Easley is still towing. Brandon Banks, it looks like, has left the facility.
Yeah, Banks is he's done. But what I'm noticing here, and it looks like actually a few drivers did not pit there, but
A lot of cars did not pit, actually. I should have been more clear there. 18 cars staying out. Ray Rogers, the first car that pitted in 19th.
Well, if Ray Rogers only taking a 2-second pit stop time, that's a fuel only stop. They have 3 sets of tires, so if you're breaking into this race into fourths, you're looking to pit at maybe 25 for tires. So he says it's too early for tires, but this is the game for a fuel strategy race, taking the fuel early here to get the leg up on the rest of his competition.
Pace car lights are still on for caution number 1 this evening at the Texas Motor Speedway. What that means is we're going to get our first break of the evening, and we'll be right back in just a few moments. Enjoy these couple of messages from our partners. Well, actually, the partners of the MPI Cup Series and our partners here at PitStop TV.
Fuller. Yeah. Needed F-150 for Smith build.
Got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide. Even those classified sites. Auto Tempest. All the cars, one search. That's how it.
Hi everyone, I'm Max Papis, founder of MPI. Let me introduce you to a line that we developed in MPI that is really dear to me. The MPI SimMax. Obviously, SimMax, the guy here. The reason of birth of SimMax is the fact that nowadays I believe that sim racing and virtual racing is exactly the platform to start. I consider sim racing and virtual racing very similar to the experience I had in go-kart when I started in my racing. And let me introduce you to our line of authentic steering wheel created specifically for the sim community.
Welcome back, rather. Just like that, we're ready to go back racing on lap 13 in just one moment as the field was displayed the 1 to green signal last time by Ross Harlow in control. And Emerson, oh, this is a great top-down view of a Dallara DW12. We are just about ready to go back green flag racing. Ross Harlow in control. Richard Swavely second on the inside. So Harlow opting for the outside lane for this one. And we will run down to the flag stand and get this race restarted. Barney with the flag in hand. Green flag is back out. First restart of the night. Oh, in big trouble. Ryan Kendall across the track.
Big hits there, airtime, and I was just about to comment. I'm actually surprised we're getting double file restarts in IndyCar.
Yep, and that's why.
Well, yeah. I can't fault him too much. It's unfortunately become really common in real IndyCar for a lot of wrecks to happen on restarts and starts like that. Double file restarts. I was questioning how it was going to work.
Here you go. Ryan Kendall is that gray and black car up top with the red accents. Outside of the white and blue, number 11. And you can see they're all just jackrabbiting, and Kendall just got loose on his own. Gets swept up there by the Valvoline car. Can't tell who that was. Of course, a lot of different paint schemes for us to try and figure out on the fly, but oh boy. And then Kalis tries to get back rolling, and you see the troubles of getting one of these cars going back from a stop.
It's, again, these are completely different machines. First, I don't know how many of these guys have even driven this car on the service. But at that, they're completely different. And at that, this is not what they run every Sunday. The throttle, the brakes, they're completely different. This looks like somebody who was not ready for a first gear restart, a car that can pull over 12,000 RPM.
Even the 11 of Hendry got loose, and that was Reeves that got into him there. Oh, and Reeves had his own crash. The car behind him had a crash. That was Curtis Kelly. There was more on this front stretch actually going on than I thought, as multiple cars are getting just a little bit of damage here. The good news is they do have one faster pair that they can rely on this evening, but of course you don't want to have to use that this early in the race. Let's go back and get another look at things. This is really early to use one of these faster pairs. Here's Sean Kalist.
Unfortunately, it's looking like we may not be done with yellows tonight. So yeah, I definitely would not want to have burnt a faster pair here. And look, he's laying back, trying to give himself room. He sees the wreck. Hey, you know what?
And then just loops it.
Oh no!
But that front wing looks okay. I mean, just kiss that outside wall.
It's not going to be perfect, right? I think he'll be okay. He's not going to. He would not burn the faster pair for sure.
No, I don't even think he's got any damage, to be honest with you. The car looked pretty okay after that. I think he'll be just fine. Here's a look at the entire field coming out of the restart zone for that last one. I love this idea, though, of changing up the cars and going for something like an Indy car. It's high-powered. That's what NASCAR guys usually want. And, oh, man, Reeves a big hit. It was really just those couple of isolated incidents. Of course, the big one with Ryan Kendall and then Dustin Reeves here. Otherwise, most of the field gets away nice and cleanly. Curtis Kelly got a little bit of damage. But I love this theory, this idea, this concept of changing things up like this. I definitely am in support of something like this, yeah.
Certainly. And let's be real. That's for some of these guys, that was their first ever restart in one of these cars. You have the initial start that goes on the green lights, but that might have been the first ever restart for some of these guys in this car. I mean, it's not an easy car. IndyCar drivers are no slouches in real life. These things are tough. No power steering, lots of RPM. It takes a lot of finesse to drive these cars, and unfortunately, I think a lot of those guys just got caught out.
While we're under yellow here, Justin Hendry is one of those drivers that had a bit of an issue on that restart, but got away cleanly. So let's bring in driver of the number 11, somebody we don't talk to very often, but Justin, we saw you get a little bit squirrely on that restart, but get away okay. How difficult is it to put power down in these DW12 Indy cars?
I couldn't hear you, man. Say that again.
How difficult is it to put down the power in these Indy cars and these restarts? We saw you get a little bit squirrely there on the power that last time, but you were not one of the guys that spun. How difficult is it to restart?
Oh, you got to be real easy with it on first gear. You get a little too much into it, it won't spin really easy. But then second gear just seems a little too slow, so it's a little fine line there.
Now, do you have any prior experience with these cars? I mean, this is a kind of a fun idea for an all-star race at the very least, but I'd imagine a lot of you guys have never run these cars before.
No, just some here and there, but no real experience in them at all.
Now, have you had enough time to kind of get it used to how these cars draft, acclimated to it? Do you have any expectations for this race?
Just got to slow it down a little bit when you get in the dirty air, and you just got to keep it out of trouble because it don't take much to damage these things.
All right, Justin, we appreciate your time, buddy. Best of luck here, and best of luck on this restart as well. We'll be talking to you shortly, potentially.
Thank you, buddy.
Justin Hendry there in car number 11. He'll be restarting, interestingly enough, in position number 11 whenever we get back rolling here. It looks like the caution will stay out for one more lap here, Emerson, on a lap 16.
Yeah, you know, I've always heard of that, and I did a couple IndyCar Texas races last year. At that, I know the complaint was how long the cautions were. I've never imagined the cautions this long, even for NASCAR, but I don't know. Intriguing, maybe if there was anybody at race control, maybe they'd be up for shortening these cautions because don't necessarily need this extra lap. It looks like, you know, nobody even took to the pit lane over than the wrecked cars.
Well, it is good, though, for those guys that do get wrecked. I think in an exhibition race like this, to have that extra lap, to be able to get back out there and, you know, you can't get everything repaired easily in one of these older Indy cars, just like the new ones, where, and as we saw on Wednesday, you can change the wings out no problem on the new ones. I don't think that's the same way on these older cars with the older damage model. So it is actually, I think, good for the wrecked cars, but unfortunately, yes, the rest of these guys have to wait an extra lap, it looks like. So we should get the one to green signal this time by. I do love these caution lights, though. Emerson, you've been here in person. How cool is that to see?
It's really cool. During the day, it takes a second to notice them. But I've been here at night for truck races and an Xfinity race, and it adds a whole other level to the atmosphere. Honestly, I think the fence caution lights is the first thing I notice when a caution comes out, more than anything. It's cool. No other track does it. It's a unique feature that they've done here at Texas Motor Speedway, and they kept it even through the reprofiling.
So lap 17 of 100, we're coming up to lap number 18 once we get this race restarted. Ross Harlow in control of things. He started second this evening, quickly got to the lead, and has led every lap since, actually. He's led every single lap so far in this race. Swavely started first and is right next to him on the inside lane. No laps led as he dropped quickly to that second spot, but let's see what he can do here on this restart. Looks like Justin Erb in line in the third spot, Lawson Peel there in fourth, and I really am proud already of Justin Erb and what he's doing in this race. Admittedly, not much of an IndyCar guy, but joined us for commentary of the IRL Indianapolis 500 this past Wednesday, got to know him a good bit, and I think definitely is using a little bit what we talked about to his advantage potentially this evening, getting used to this drafting and how you've got to race these things, even though it is an older generation IndyCar vehicle. So restart on the way, lap 18 along with it. Ross Harlow launches off quickly. A bit of a false start there for Swavely, but green flag is out at Texas. Golly, they are moving through turns 3 and 4. That making holding their speed so much more nicely on that end of the speedway. Only a 2/10 gap between Harlow and Peel into turn 1, but Swavely is there with Peel.
And I was just about to say, Harlow really had these boys napping on the restart, but is he going to be able to hold up with the massive draft that these cars give off here? And I mean, they're about to break 225 into turn 1, even in these older cars with the more simpler wings. These guys, they are moving. This battle continues on. This is Peel trying to get back by Swavely, but I think Swavely's got it secure for now.
Here's the onboard from Swavely as Peel comes back alongside. This is a great shot. I love this. Off the side pod, looking back at the left rear corner of these cars. And you can see Peel there on the inside. Boy, that is a lovely shot of Peel's car. Oh, loose there on the apron.
Yeah, he caught that apron. Swavely kept his foot in it up high, and they continue to march on. But what that does do is it opens up a half-second advantage now to Ross Harlow. As we look a little further back here, this is Erb here trying to fend off Curry.
It is Justin Erb and Brian Curry, 4th and 5th. Alex Pasquarello just behind in a side-by-side of Warren Colin Keefe on the inside of Joseph Mahar. Now, your top 14 still have not pitted in this race, and Shoemaker, Rogers, and Bland pitted on the first yellow. On the most recent yellow, you're looking for guys like Shoemaker, Reeves, Kendall, Kinsey, Kalist, and Kelly that pitted as Peel goes back by Swavely for second.
And Peel's cleared up. Looks like a little bit of a late clear. Here comes Swavely back down to the inside, and it's so hard to defend when a driver can just keep it down to that bottom side without clipping that apron. Swavely should make easy work of Peel up off the corner. Does Peel have another go here into one, though? He'll peek up high.
Great battle for the second position, but it's allowing Ross Harlow to start walking these guys 0.7 of a second out front. There's no segments in this race. You're relying purely on the race strategy and cautions to follow to help you. If I'm these guys, I'm going to get single file, leapfrog a little bit. They're now a second back of Harlow.
Yeah, they better figure out who's got better pace at this point. I think Peel's a smart guy. I think he'd understand maybe to get behind Swavely. Maybe they could draft one another. Maybe he should save fuel. Yeah. Nonetheless, I think it wouldn't hurt one of them to let the other go to maybe save fuel, see if the other can do the work to catch Harlow. How about this battle?
Let's go on board with Hendry watching Dakota Curves from the top side of Austin Reedy down low. That bright teal, number 96, moving his way through this pack. He started 20th, he's now 10th, so he's on his way forward.
Taking a really shallow line into one. Of course, that bottom line is the preferred line. You don't want to get that shallow, though. You're going to have to cut a lot of speed off the
one car up in the wall.
2 cars bounced the wall.
I think one of those was Ray Rogers. Is he slow? Yes, it was. Ray Rogers popped the fence and slowed down. There was one other that might have been Bill Schoonover. And it was Bill Schoonover. That was the gray car I saw that popped the fence.
So that aero push beginning to become a factor. We've had now 2 restarts on the, well, some of these guys got 2 full restarts on their tires.
Whoa!
26 laps, and how about Warren Kyle Keith putting the block on there on Dakota?
These two racing really hard for all of 8th position. Here comes Dakota on the top side. Reedy looking for a line. He's going to make it 3. No. The door is shut by Warren Kyle Keith. Very smart there from Warren.
I certainly expected Reedy to put it in there to see if they can go 3 wide into 1. It is wide down there, but it is Dakota Curtis taking advantage of Warren Kyle Keith having to be preoccupied with his mirror as Dakota Curtis looks forward and Joseph Mahar up the road. Alex Muscarella has been moving up.
Yeah, he's in the 6th. He's been there since the restart. Really, the top 5, top 6 have not moved. Really, even top 7 with Mahar. The battle is from 8th on back right now. Further back in traffic as Warren Kyle Keith and Austin Reedy go side by side. Reedy pulls a better NASCAR side draft contact there, and Warren barely hangs on to that one.
Keeping them down to the inside, and you know, that's part of it. That's what you got to do. Warren was not, was probably expecting a little bit more breathing room on corner exit with how tight these cars can get, but he wasn't giving it, and Austin Reedy moves on through.
Warren drops down to the 10th spot, just inside that top 10. And you can see Justin Hendry, who we talked to under that last yellow, in the 11th spot still. Chris Progar behind him. Let's go on board with Chris Progar in the Snapple 17. You see things thinning out, the field getting single file. And as this race goes on, Emerson, I think it's going to be more and more difficult to pass. I think we're looking at a very single file draft, leapfrog kind of race. There we go. Not a draft fest, but a leapfrog race, certainly.
Well, Mahar made that mistake in 1. It's going to open the opportunity for Curtis to stick it down there. Couldn't make the most of it. Mahar actually did a smart move there. Took the higher line to get this great run out of turn 4. I think Curtis noticed that. He just backed off, went back to single file. Curtis is going to wait for a potential other mistake from Mahar. But Mahar was very calm right there. He didn't panic when he made that mistake. He just kept his foot in it. He placed the car exactly where it needed to be. And a little bit of a late cut there on Curtis. Here comes Austin Reedy.
Oh, Reedy almost gets the fence there to 4. A big lift. You can see how much time he lost there to get to Dakota Curtis. It looks like these older Indy cars, Emerson, take a bit longer to spool back up. It seems like when you lift, it's a lot more detrimental.
And there's not that oomph off the corner of anything. And I potentially thought Reedy was disconnected there. Now there's a little bit of a blink. Warren gets on through. That's gonna hurt Austin. Honestly, they look a little this is for back in the field, huh?
These are just some of the battles at the very back end of the field, including Curtis Kelly to the inside of Austin Shoemaker. You can see them battling out of turn 4. Oh, Curtis, all kinds of evil out of turn 4. That car is all over the place right now, but he's hanging on as best as he can. I wonder, he's not taking his fast repair with how hard he hit the wall earlier. He could have a little bit of right rear suspension damage, even right front. It's maybe impacting the handling of that car, but is hanging on for now as Ryan Kendall goes by Bill Schoonover. Kendall in that darker gray 68 has tires. He pitted 19 laps ago, so under our most recent yellow. And he is the top driver that pitted under that yellow. The top driver that's pitted at all, though, is Parker Bland in position 13.
And this is going to be the point here. You see that car right up ahead make a little bit of a mistake, clipping the apron, a little bit of smoke up off turn 4. Parker Bland, he's going to make the most of it here on this long run. He's going to have cars make mistakes. He's going to have to get these runs on these cars.
And finding that clean air.
Absolutely. It's really hard right here back in this part of the traffic. But if you can just nail the corner exits right, you have the grip to do so compared to your competitor. Go ahead and use it.
I think the big thing is definitely going offline in the corners to get that clean air on the front wing and get the car to bite. We see that in Indianapolis. We saw it Wednesday in the 500 of IRL. Getting that clean air is going to be really imperative in 1 and 2, especially the flatter corners. You see there, Parker Bland up the racetrack just a little bit, trying to get some of that clean air. Now, if one of these cars ahead of him gives a little space to the inside, he wants to get down all the way to the apron and get as much air on the left side of that wing as possible. Right now, Hendry and Progar are doing a good job of covering the bottom.
A little optimistic there off the corner. Yeah, Parker Bland, he's now under attack from the car behind.
Chris Shoemaker to the inside. Good battle here for 14th. Oh, man. Chris has to lift. This is for the 13th spot, the top of the 2 drivers that have pitted it all.
think Shoemaker got a little low on entry. It just shot up the track. Now he's going to lose the spot here.
Garrett Brown tries to the inside. It's just so hard to pass down there. You've got to have the pass, I think, at least two-thirds or three-quarters of the way made before you turn in if you want it.
And we're getting to that part here, oval racing in these Indy cars. It takes several corners, several laps to set up a pass, and you can't. It has to be done perfectly. Cody Kinsey did this. I think this is part of an attempt to make a pass here on Shoemaker. Shoemaker's going to wash up. Look at this.
I didn't think that was going to work. I thought he was way too far offline, but Cody Kinsey, great job there setting up Austin Shoemaker for turn 3, and that is only for 20th, but that was a beautiful pass, and I think a perfect illustration of what you were talking about. Now Dakota Curtis and Joseph Mahar. This is back in the top 10. This is for 7th. Curtis on the inside, Mahar, that yellow car on the outside. Mahar's going to take it back and gets real loose. These cars are evil out there.
He's still hanging on to it. It was still going left and right down through the quad oval. Mahar was wheeling that thing.
Here we go for the lead. Lap car in front, that's Charles Phelps down low. Ross Harlow goes on by on the outside. Yes, he does. And Lawson Peel is there, Emerson.
I am amazed. In the dirty air, Lawson Peel closed the second deficit that he had. He is pressuring Ross Harlow. Was Harlow not taking care of his stuff, or is Lawson Peel just that much faster? Up off the corner, Harlow's got about a 1.5-tenth advantage. Peel is biding his time.
I'd like to see roles reversed here. Put Peel out front and see if he would lose the lead back to Harlow. You know, if Harlow can catch back up, I wonder if it's the air or the tires at this point. As you can see, Peel is struggling to actually set him up right now. Harlow's just able to stay out front, keep running his line, and do his thing. And I didn't think Ross was running all that hard.
You know, I don't know. Maybe Ross isn't extrapolating everything out of the car, or he's been taking it really easy, and now he's got stuff to fend off Lawson Peel with. A couple different things to be working out there, but Lawson Peel nonetheless was an amazing drive up through the field. But again, catching somebody is one thing, passing somebody is another. That's a phrase often said in racing.
I think he learned that quick. Now these guys should, at this point, make it to halfway before having to pit, but how much further than that can they go, Emerson? Can they go far enough to clear themselves with just one stop under green?
These fuel numbers, I mean, most of what I'm going to base it off on is the IR18. I don't know if the fuel levels or the fuel loads were the same with these CW12s, but I mean, you can get close to about 55, 60 laps with the IR18 here. Look at this! Mahar was trying to make that move. Is that Curtis?
No, that's a lap car. That's Kunkel. I think Kunkel was trying to get out of the way, actually, as he will now go down to the apron and barely hang on to that car. He's got a handful right now. Oh, boy. There goes Bland on by. Here comes Garrett Brown. Joseph Mahar and Austin Reedy, though, battling for the 8th spot. Reedy goes by on the bottom, but Mahar is not done.
Unfortunately, I think Mahar was compromised there with the lapped car. Reedy actually will make that easy work into 3. Mahar's going to fight back. I don't think it's to no avail there off the corner.
Oh, problems for one Kyle Keith. He is down to the pit lane. Is it problems or is it a strategy move? You just said these guys might be good for 55 laps. If that's the case, Warren here pitting early to go ahead and get fuel and tires right at the pit window.
That's what I'm thinking of the IR18. Is it actually true? I guess we're gonna have to see. Oh
man, he botched it a little bit, but is still in for service, and car 42 will be leaving shortly as he drops back down off the jacks. 9 seconds in the box. I think a second of that or so, maybe even 2, was from the miscue. We'll still see about where this guy, where Warren kind of reincorporates into the field to get an idea of the delta. A lot of times in oval racing, Emerson, just because of what can happen, you actually want to go deeper into a run as opposed to short pitting. Short pitting works great on a road course, not so great usually on ovals.
And you usually do that for a couple of reasons. The road courses, you're just less likely to get lapped, but also the caution likelihood. And we got a battle.
Here we go for the lead.
Go from here.
Arlo up top, Peel on the bottom, lap car in front. That is Sean Kalist. One other car was slow. I'm not sure who that was, but oh boy, things are lighting up. Peel to the inside.
Another car taking the pit lane, but Peel's got that inside and the one. How about Harlow with that run in that second lane off the corner? Harlow the advantage.
Harlow goes low of this lap car. That is Shoemaker. Yes, Austin Shoemaker, the 14. Peel goes down with him at 3 and 4. Following in that dirty wake, and now about to turn 4. Lap 50 will begin. We're right at halfway. And I think these guys are good with just one stop for sure. Brian Curry to the pit lane. No, a crash in the front stretch.
Brian Curry hit the wall there off the corner, and wow. Oh,
wow. Hendry destroyed.
And Warren Kyle Keith just pitted, expecting it to go green for a while.
He should have a path back onto the lead lap after pitting. Should be able to get the wave around, but it is going to be killer to his strategy. Let's see what happens here to Brian Curry. He's racing with Justin Erb, but it had been solid in that fifth spot the entire run. And then out of turn 4 this time, just pops the fence, gets stuck up there, allows it, whoa, really gets stuck up there, and then comes down the racetrack and collects the nose off of Mahar and prompts the 11 of Hendry to crash as well.
Hendry's, I think, was a reactionary move. I wonder what the front end of Mahar's car looks like. If there's any damage, it's faster here, but wow.
Yeah, you can't really race an Indy car with damage unless, I mean, if you have to, but you can't race competitively with damage.
Yeah, it literally is just engine, wheels, driver, and aerodynamics. that is an Indy car. And this is Mahar's view.
Oh, you're kidding me. Miss of the year, maybe, for Joseph Mahar. Let's get that one back in slow-mo. That was fantastic.
You have Alex's email for the iRacing Top 10?
Yeah, Alex Horn, we need you for this one. Here we go. Let's slow this down. This is fantastic. At this point, he's thinking go low, and then suddenly an adjustment to the right. Whew! Wow. Let's bring that back one more time. I want to see that from the left front camera we have. This is insane. As you would say, Emerson, this is nutty. Look at this. Look at how close he gets. That split-second reaction to go that way. Wow.
Joseph Mahar is impressed tonight. Well, that is to a whole nother level. Oh my goodness.
Let's watch this from Curry's rear camera here. He gets stuck in the fence, gets popped up in the air, and then here comes an orange blur of Mahar. That close. And it actually turns Curry's car around, but Mahar gets by without issue.
It's a net-coated hit for Brian Curry, but it's net-coated because Mahar did not hit him, at least from Mahar's point of view.
That is properly insane. Very close there between those two cars. We see the detriment to Curry. We'll also see the detriment, of course, to Justin Hendry. Let's find car 11 and see how it all went wrong for him.
I think Hendry...
He actually had some rear damage. You can see the rear wing's already dented. Oh, wow.
He tried to do the same thing Mahar did, but the car did not respond in a similar way.
And that is the inside wall for car 11. A lot of pit stops, in fact. The entire field, aside from James Kunkel and Warren Kyle Keith, come in under this caution flag. Ross Harlow will win the race back off the pit lane. Lawson Peel there in second. And you can see Warren Kyle Keith in frame. He will get the wave around along with James Kunkel here in a few moments once we get the 1 to green signal. It's lap 53 of 100. Everybody coming in, like I said, except for those two. Tires and fuel across the board. The order has not changed much, although Austin Reedy is up to 4th, Dakota Curtis to 5th, Mahar is into 6th, Progar moves up into the top 10. Really, the only big thing that I saw change was Justin Erb, who lost a lot of spots. He's down into 13th. He was 4th.
You don't want to see a 14.5 in IndyCar. That's about a typical NASCAR pit stop time. That is double the length of an IndyCar stop time. So something must have happened. An Erb stop, either damage repair, or he missed the box by a mile, or maybe spun off the box. I don't know. But that is unfortunate. Erb lost a lot of great positions. He was doing great.
He'll drop down out of the top 12 even, into the 13th spot, barely in the top 15. He's almost in no man's land. We've seen a lot of really crazy racing back outside of the top 10, so it's going to be tough for him, I think, to actually move through this field. But if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in these first few laps from the restart, Emerson. He's going to have to be on it, as those couple of cars that we saw waiting on the wave around will get their wave around. There goes Warren Kyle Keith on by the pace car. And he is headed down the backstretch to try and catch up to this field, get back on the lead lap. He'll be good on fuel. The problem is, Emerson, his tires are slightly worn.
Yeah, now he's hoping for a quick yellow. A few laps ago, he was hoping for no yellow. Now he's hoping for another yellow. At least he can come in, maybe burn. Well, yeah, they got 3 sets. He can come in for another set of tires and fill it up on fuel, go at it again. But, wow, what could have been for Warren Kyle Keith? We look forward at what's going on here with Harlow and Peel again.
Well, as you mentioned the tires and how many sets they have, with these elevated temps in the 120s on the track, 60 is only in the air, but 120 degrees or so on the track, they do have to be careful on tires. If we get more yellows here, you can't just pit every single time. Now, these guys now have only pitted twice, but you only get 3 sets of changed tires. So realistically, they all have 1 set left in the pits. That's going to restrain what they can do here to the end. Do you pit if we get a caution at 70, or do you try and hold out and try and get a yellow closer to lap 90? A lot of debates will be happening here in the next few laps as we get closer and closer to the end of this race. Lap 54, as lap 55 comes along, green flag is back out. Harlow with a big jump. One lap complete from the restart. It's still Ross Harlow out front.
Was Ross Harlow out with his competitors earlier in the day, handing out pillows, blankets, binkies, all that? He has been taking them to school on these restarts.
It's insane. I mean, that is why the leader gets such an advantage in IndyCar restarts, even with single file restarts, but especially these double file restarts where second place is on the left side of you, or the right side, depending on what lane you take. It is insane the jump you can get as first place. And now Reedy here goes purple that lap, bringing the fight to Peel, rather, who gets loose on the bottom side of the track and gives up that spot pretty easily.
And I think Peel has understood. Yes, he's got, looks like, potentially better tire conservation than Ross Harlow, but Reedy was probably not somebody he wanted to let by, because Reedy has been fast.
Yeah, he's quick. Goes purple again. I'm surprised he went purple that lap. Less of a toe. But a 25.26 is still moving here at Texas Motor Speedway. So car 96 is quick. Gonna have to try and put this race together, though. He's got to put this run together of over 40 laps, nearly 45 laps. In fact, actually, I think it's 46 that he'll have to do by the end of this thing, of saving tires and just stalking Ross Harlow and pouncing at the right time.
Reedy's been very lucky with the caution coming out when they did. He's been able to kind of, I guess, in a way, work over his tires in, I guess, a controlled manner. Appeal here, but Alex Muscarella has been another driver steadily moving forward. He's up to 4th, and all of a sudden, Lawson Peel's run to potentially take this race is starting to get very clouded.
We're on board with Muscarella, and I think he'll be able to bring the fight, certainly, to Lawson Peel before the end of this run, or at least give it a shot. Some more battles happen on behind. Joseph Mahar here in the 7th spot. Chris Shoemaker just behind him. Garrett Brown up the road. Meanwhile, Schoonover is fighting with Warren Kyle Keith. Warren down here in the 17th position, just went by car 9. Parker Bland's got a problem. Into the grass.
Yeah, that's not the racing line.
No.
He's going to lose a little bit of time there.
There goes Warren. So Warren looks like had an issue on the restart. He is well back in the rest of the field, 2 seconds back. As the problem with Parker Bland, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, potentially Warren, he hasn't been back there all day. Might have been a whole different environment for drivers who don't necessarily restart in these cars. Parker, he was seaside.
Oh, another bobble. Oh my.
Oh my.
Colton Herta, is that you?
Man, what a catch! But
Dings up the front wing, but yeah, wow.
that's why I didn't think that was modeled, where running across the quad oval would ding up the front wing, but that's nutty.
A bit of damage there for Parker Bland. In fact, that damage seems to definitely be impacting him here. He loses some time there to Justin Hendry. Hendry is 2 laps down, admittedly. So this is not for position, but Bland definitely struggling now under this run. Really, I think everything is settled in aside from this battle that we're coming to with Dakota Curtis and Alex Muscarella. This is for 4th. Muscarella up the racetrack, gets tight, and there goes Curtis.
Muscarella was moving. He was going to go have a go at Lawson Peel. I don't know, maybe he did have a go and he's falling back to Dakota, but Dakota Curtis has since lit up very sideways in 3 and 4 there, but Dakota Curtis now up past Muscarella on the move. He's about a 1.5 seconds back of Lawson Peel now.
Watching these guys battle inside the top 10. James Kunkel leaving the pit lane. Mahar looks to the inside there of Garrett Brown. And Curtis can't quite shake Muscarella just yet, but he might have finally gotten away just enough from car 48 to consider that battle done.
Certainly, and then Mahar was just battling with Garrett Brown. Garrett Brown has been very quiet today, steadily moving his way forward as well. In 6th now, Mahar under attack from Chris Shoemaker, who was down in the field a while ago. He's up here in the top.
Whoa, but he's on the apron. Woo. Whoa, and he gets hit. Garrett Brown tags him. No, Chris Progar tags him. Oh, my goodness, Justin Erb.
Oh, no.
Wow. Massive contact for those two drivers. Thankfully, they can brush that one off. They won't feel that unless they're in a motion sim. I think very thankfully.
Yeah. Man, I know it's pick. At the end of the day, it's just pixels.
Oh my God.
Man, still can't help but wins at hits like that.
I mean, he clobbered him. He absolutely clobbered the 4-car. Let's see what happened here for Chris Shoemaker in the first place. He dove down to the inside of Joseph Mahar, tags the apron once, tags the apron twice. Progar hits him and turns him around. Progar had nowhere to go, but then here comes the 24, and my goodness.
Man,
Justin Erb really said good night.
You know, I'd imagine Erb was probably going up high because he saw Shoemaker wrecking up high and he was going to roll down the banking, but it was not that quickly. Maybe underestimated his speed approaching the incident. He is way back here.
He is quite a ways back in this incident when it begins. He's got 1 car to the inside. I can hear it. 1 car down low. And, oh, he gets hit up the racetrack.
Oh.
I can't put any fault here on Justin. He gets hit.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that was Kendall that he made contact with potentially.
I don't think he got hit, but I think he tried to get down and there was a car there. They made contact. And yeah, Erb did not have
Oh no, he got hit.
Yeah.
He got hit. Kendall taps the apron himself, bobbles, and my goodness. That is 2 IndyCar races in a row, by the way, that we've covered on PitStop TV, where a car has gone into the catch fence. This time, well, it's Chris Shoemaker. And we could even get an onboard to this one. This will be rough.
He's straddling that white line and gets ran over from behind, hits the wall. He did a great job of keeping it up there. It's just nowhere for Erb to go, and now comes Perez parked up alongside him like he's in the parking lot with him.
Now, Chris Progar and all of this, I mean, he had nowhere to go either. You can see all this develop ahead. Joseph Mahar, that orange car. Chris Shoemaker directly in front. And Progar at this point, Emerson, I believe, is thinking, hey, maybe there's a chance. Those guys backed up in 1 and 2. They pulled away a little bit again, but here we go, side by side, an opportunity to catch up. And then Chris is all over the fence, or all over the apron, and thankfully for Progar, very little damage, just that left front, but still not good.
Yeah, Progar, he absolutely nailed turn 3. He was glued to that bottom side.
Oh, yeah.
But probably the one time he wished he wasn't.
Pit stops under yellow once again, and each time, I wonder if they're just extending the yellows to match TV. Anyways, Ross Harlow, your race leader still. The top 7 stay out through Parker Bland. That's Ross Harlow, Austin Reedy, Joseph Mahar, Alex Muscarella, Richard Swavely, Dustin Reeves, and Parker Bland, all staying out. Your first taker under this yellow is somebody that might just have pulled the strategy that, well, I literally said, if we get a caution at 70, it is lap 70. I know the caution came out a few laps ago, but this could be exactly what you need for Lawson Peel. He pitted. Granted, he's 8th place. He's got to come through a few cars. He's got 17 laps on these guys, and if we go green, I'd have to imagine he's in the catbird seat.
Well, think about it. You know, he fought, his race was pretty straight up. He's racing Ross Harlow. Then all of a sudden, Austin Reedy blows by him like nothing mattered. And then here comes Alex Muscarella, who didn't pass him, but he was tailing him. I think Peel felt he was at a disadvantage, and he wasn't going to win just sitting there. Might as well take this chance. It's an all-star race.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes wrong, what are you losing? Realistically, nothing, just a bit of pride maybe and some bragging rights. Go ahead and pit. See if it works out. If this race goes green, I really think he's in the best position to win this race. The only other driver that I think I would argue with, would argue that would have a great chance would be Dakota Curtis in, the 9th position just behind him. I think both of these guys, Lawson Peel, Dakota, and Curtis, have both been really, really good today. Maybe I think Dakota's a little behind where he needs to be. Did I say to Curtis again? Anyways, Dakota Curtis a little behind where he needs to be. But in the top 5 or nearly top 5 at the very least. He's got pace, just needs that little bit extra to move him up and fight for a win. And we'll see if that happens here on this run. And certainly it should with those new tires. But if we get a yellow Emerson, 4 new Firestones will feel good.
Absolutely. You can't go wrong with new grip in these Indy cars. They love grip. I mean, they generate grip, but they love that added grip. You got to think, with 30 laps to go, you can be more harder on your tires. You got fresher tires. We're probably not done with yellows yet, so you're probably not even going to run 30 laps on your tires. You're looking good if you got some fresh Firestones on there.
With 30 laps to go, I think if we get more yellows like you say we might, Emerson, those guys that haven't pitted yet certainly are in a better spot. But when do you want to take those? If we get a caution immediately, do you come in and actually take them, or do you keep the track position hoping you get another yellow? I mean, there's so much to try and work with this current situation, the way this strategy is working out. I think if we go more than 10 laps and get a yellow, you have to come in and pit. You have to go ahead and cover up what those guys just did under this yellow. We'll see how things go. So, a restart coming to lap 72. Ross Harlow back in control. Reedy spins. Oh! Reeves down to the inside. He will spin completely. And green is out, but car 6 is in trouble through the grass.
Yeah, we're staying green. That is a single car incident off the racing surface. So we continue on. Top few have gotten singled out. It's Workout Key fending off a pack.
Back up through the quad oval. Ross Harlow continues to lead. 1 lap complete from the restart. First car with tires, Lawson Peel. Oh, Reedy way up the track. One car goes Swavely. I don't know where he came from, but he went right by Lawson Peel like he was standing still. What in the world? And Swavely's got old tires.
Did they got pushed to pass in these old cars?
On an oval? I wouldn't imagine so. I think Lawson's just trying to tiptoe.
They're not supposed to on an oval, but
Lawson Peel just tiptoeing his way through this. Now has a run on the outside. Doesn't want to go too far up there. Joseph Mahar, though, occupying that line is making it tough. Maybe some contact there at a turn 2. Dakota Curtis, the other car that I thought had a shot. He's way back there. Lawson Peel gets turned. Big crash in turns 3 and 4. Curtis is swept up in it. Oh, it's a massive one. Oh, my goodness.
6, 7, 8 cars over there.
It is huge.
They're still wrecking.
Hello, Cody Kinsey right in front of us. Dustin Reeves there as well. Did Warren Kyle Keith get damaged? He took tires under that yellow. No, his car is okay. Lawson Peel, though. I mean, he has a faster pair to rely on, but no more tires in the pits. At least he shouldn't.
That one's gonna hurt. Fresh set of tires. Even if he grabs the faster pair, he just spun on those tires. Oh man, that's typical IndyCar. IndyCar, you're running 215 at the center of these corners. It's impossible. These cars have amazing brakes. It's impossible to stop on a dime though at 215 miles an hour, and you're just gonna see 6 of these guys get in trouble here and just didn't have the chance.
Swavely in the bottom. Watch that green, black, and yellow car. He just never made the corner. Pushed big time. Progar with him. Warren gets a bit of damage. Swavely does pirouettes.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Some of these hits are huge.
I think Warren's onboard might be a good one we should take a little later on. That's a lot of carnage behind though.
A lot of carnage in general. And it all begins with car 32 on the bottom. Swavely just missed the corner up the racetrack into Peel, who did nothing wrong. He hits the wall, does pirouettes. My goodness, the hits.
Oh!
Herb, Kinsey, Shoemaker. Who is that? That's Curtis on his TV. His camera on the roll bar, the roll hoop. Wow.
I was saying just before how tall these cars look. Compared to the rest of the body of the car. That certainly would help in an incident like this in real life. See what happened to Curtis. He's way back here, and
there's nowhere to go.
You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance.
He's gonna get hit hard. Oh my goodness! That was Austin Shoemaker that came by and hit him.
I mean, you're going 215. There's no way he could have wowed down in time.
Let's take it now from Shoemaker's point of view then.
Both the Shoemakers, they have disconnected. So they don't both.
Austin was back here with Justin Hendry. You see Cody Kinsey just ahead of him. Justin Erb. This is a great view, actually. Wow. Just chaos. Just chaos.
It's like a war zone over there.
All right, you said we should get Warren Kyle Keats on board. Here it is.
There's smoke everywhere. Yes, I think this is going to be insane. If he missed this one, the way Mahar, I think he did make contact, but maybe it's like Mahar's neck coated contact.
I think it neck coated back out. Yeah, I mean, it's just that little bit of a wing. Oh my goodness! He hit through the flipping slavery.
That might be just as good as Mahar's.
I think this is more luck. Mahar made the move he needed to. This is more Warren Kyle Keith just locking the wheel straight and hoping. I think really makes that move to go high, admittedly, but after that, oh my
goodness, car coming right at you, folks. That was something.
And this is going to be one that I think Ed Shearer needs to get a video of for social media. Watch what happens behind Warren Kyle Keith here after the crash.
No way.
So, a lot of takers under this yellow Emerson. Ross Harlow, Alex Muscarella, and Joseph Mahar all stay out, though. So the first car on tires is now Warren Kyle Keith. Granted, those are 10-lap-old tires versus the first car on new tires, new tires, I believe, is Ryan Kendall. And the waters get a little murkier, considering some of these guys had to pit for damage, like Lawson Peel, who actually exited first out of this group on the pit lane, or that pitted under this yellow. The first car on tires, new tires, may actually be Austin Reedy back here, who's going to restart it in 10th.
I mean, we've opened up Pandora's box of all these different strategies. We're in for a treat. Certainly, I think Ross Harlow had the right idea. Track positions, everything. He's been schooling these guys on restarts, and well, if we can't get a clean restart to the end, Harlow's going to be fine. But in the case we do, oh boy.
You know, I wouldn't mind seeing these guys do this on maybe a monthly basis. I like what T-Bland says out in the chat, saying that they should race IndyCars more often. I wouldn't mind seeing them rotate between DW12s and the old, IR09s they had. Go back and forth between those, rotate every month, have monthly races in these cars. That would be fun. It seems like these guys would have a bit of enjoyment. 22 laps to go at the drop of green, and green flag is back out, lap 79. Side by side for the race lead through turn number 3. Muscarella down low. And he is sticking like mozzarella.
Here comes Warren Kyle Keefe, though. He wanted to take a 3. Harlow defended beautifully against Keefe, but he's going to have to
lead
give up
change
against Muscarella.
Finally, a lead change in this race. Muscarella takes it for a moment. Turn 3, let's see if he can clear him. Yes, he's got it.
Ross Harlow now vulnerable for the first time, not in the lead, under attack from the car.
Oh, the send! Ross sent it to the inside. He went for it. Props there. He runs up the racetrack, gives up that second spot, drops down to third. And look at this. Lawson peeled out of the bottom. He's not out of it.
It's a little tight there. Inside of Mahar, clips the apron. Mahar up into fourth, looking for third. A little bit of contact. Here we go.
Down the front stretch, 2-3 wide into turns 1 and 2. My goodness, and a caution comes out. Sean Kalis is in trouble somewhere, and I would say he has, well, I was going to say turtled, but I'm not sure what the term would be for landing on your side. Oh, this is a classic IndyCar crash on iRacing here in a moment.
Oh, no.
Thankfully, we don't get the death spin, but just watch this in car 43. Oh, man, that is huge, and he pops up into the air. Yeah, it gets stuck in the wall. That classic spin. Man, I've missed it. And once again, just that inside line, right through 3 and 4, just touching the apron a little bit. I wonder if these guys, because they're used to the left-hand drive stock cars, they're trying to get deeper into the corner than they should. They're not used to the center drive. Man.
Yeah, in the stock car, you can line up that left-hand side with the white line, you'll be fine. But you line up that left-hand side of your cockpit with that white line, well, that left front tire is not happy, and it gets spit back out.
Apologies for that onboard if anybody is motion sick, because that was a big one. More pit stops into this yellow. We'll recap it here in a second, but this is one more view of Sean Kalis crash in turn 4. Man, hits that wall hard.
Breakdancing down the front straightaway.
And he is done for the evening. Pit stops underway are really going to change this race. For a long time, it looked like Ross Harlow had this thing, Emerson, but suddenly Lawson Peel is your race leader, Curtis Kelly second, then Austin Reedy, Parker Bland, and Ryan Kendall. The first car pitting under this yellow is Warren Kyle Keith. Did he still have a set that we didn't know about? Muscarella into the pit lane as well. Harlow exits in the 12th spot overall. Third car back onto the racetrack. And Emerson, this could be a fantastic time to go ahead and talk with driver number 5, who's led so much of this race, and get a bit of insight.
Well, let's go ahead and talk to the driver who's been dominant today, Ross Harlow. Ross, this is not a position you are acclimatized with in these Indy cars in today's race. How goes it?
It goes pretty good. I mean, just out here having a fun time, just throwing the car around. Yeah, that clean air was real nice. Just kind of muffed the restart there on that last one, and Alex got me there. So we're gonna have a little work to do, but fresh tires, light tank of fuel. We're just gonna go out and send it.
Figured that's what was happening here. Fresh set of tires for that 5 car. Do you feel you have the time, if this were to go green to the end, to get back to that top spot?
100%. After seeing what Warren could do on freshies, coming from mid-pack up to second before that last caution, provided we don't get any big wrecks right in front of us, we should be okay. It should be a lot of fun getting to the end.
See, the lights are still on, so I do have I guess time to ask this question. But up until that last race, I guess I might have jinxed it when I said it. were you out there handing out, pillows and blankets to the rest of your competitors? Because everybody else was sleeping on almost all of the restarts earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of, kind of changing up what you're doing and, go early, go late, whatever you got to do. A lot of guys seem to be having issues getting the restart right, and that's fortunately one thing that I am really, really comfortable with is firing these things off. So, it was just a matter of comfort and kind of getting ready for things on that lap before we get going. Just kind of feeling the car out, seeing what sort of grip you're going to have when you really give her the beans.
Do you have any prior experience in the DW12s, or like, I guess a sizable amount of experience in the DW12s?
Little to none in the DW12s. I think I ran like maybe 2 or 3 races in them before the 18. Before the 18 came out. But a bunch of racing in the 18. Still learning. It's not my forte by any means, but it's a whole lot of fun to run. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm having a good time with it. The dirty air is an absolute bear here, but I suppose that's to be expected with a car like this.
Well, certainly. Well, Ross, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Best luck to you as you restart here from the 12th position. Fresh tires on everybody, or fresh tires compared to everybody ahead of you, but 2. Best luck to you. Hopefully, we'll talk to you a little bit later on.
Yes, sir. Thank you much.
Ross Harlow. Definitely the dominant car of the day, Emerson, but he's got to do it from 12th place now with only 14 laps to go, it looks like, as Lawson Peel will restart this race in just a few moments. Pace car lights have been extinguished, and we are at closing time for this one, Emerson. 14 laps to go. If you're in any one of these guys' positions, what do you do if you're, say, Lawson Peel here? You're trying to nail this restart, or maybe Curtis Kelly?
Well, other than, I guess, pray for carnage behind, you got to be looking to do what Ross Harlow's been doing on this reset. Actually jump out there and then hope you're not compromised by somebody, which is going to be hard because you're all going for the race win, but the second you get the battle with somebody, you're going to be giving up time to everybody on fresh tires behind. So it's placing the car, I guess, exactly where you want it and making the most of it.
Pace car will take the hard left turn back down to the inside and onto pit lane as Lawson Peel leads us into the restart zone here at Texas Motor Speedway. Curtis Kelly gets loose. Austin Reedy gets loose through the grass, and everybody throws the restart out the bag. The restart stays green. It's a massive gap out front for Lawson Peel as he leads down to turn number 3. This is the battle behind Parker Bland on the inside of Curtis Kelly. This is for 4th, nearly contact. Oh, that was close.
Warren Cal Keefe is up to 6th as he's looking on here for Parker Bland. He looks to the outside and Keefe is moving.
Oh, and he gets hit. Progar hits him, but he saves it through turn 2. Beautiful car control from Warren Kyle Keith, and he'll keep on digging.
We're nearly through it, man. That is apron. Sideways is Warren, looking now to see if he can hang on. He's under attack here from Progar. Here comes Swavely.
Lawson Peel goes purple from the lead. No draft help needed for car 53 as Progar has a run to the outside on older tires. Swavely into the wall. He hits it hard. Drops behind Harlow, drops behind Moscarella. 11 laps to go this time by, and Lawson Peel just went purple.
I was going to say Harlow nearly had a car in his lap there. He almost jinxed himself on that.
Reedy this time.
Very lucky. Oh, Reedy is trying to close that gap. 8/10 back.
Moscarella in trouble. Car 48 in the wall. We might get a caution.
Keeping it up there. Looks like everybody behind him is cleared by.
Trying to get it off the wall. Where's the field? I think they're about into one now. Yeah, there they go across the line. He is down onto the apron. He should be out of harm's way by the time the field comes around. But Austin Reedy, purple 2 laps in a row. That's got to have Lawson Peel sweating bullets just a little bit. I know he's still 9/10 back, but he's got to be thinking in the back of his mind, man, what if he catches?
And the thing was, Reedy went purple that lap, but he lost the 10th to Peel. I don't quite get that one. He's continuing to lose time to Lawson Peel.
Really odd. Well, I do know that the gap is going to fluctuate in the corners because, of course, they get a little bit closer, and especially here in Texas, they're slowing down quite a bit, but you got to go with that time at the line, and I think it's fluctuated right around a second. I don't think that Austin's really catching anything. He's really not making... No, that's over a second gap there. Into one, he catches back up a little bit. Of course, that's the speed difference, so Austin Reedy, he's quick, but I don't think he's quick enough right now.
And Peel's getting out to that point where even if somebody is faster, gets up to second.
Whoa! Crash! Warren Kyle Keith in the fence. Curtis Kelly in the air. It ain't over until it's over.
Oh my goodness. It has been big crash after big crash after big crash today.
Would you expect anything different in an IndyCar race, a one-off IndyCar race for NASCAR NASCAR Cup Series car drivers, MPI Cup Series drivers at Texas in the heat of the day for an exhibition? Would you expect anything different?
No, I think this is what I expect when you put a bunch of drivers who drive big, heavy stock cars all day. Put them in an analogy.
I'm not sure what happened there between those two, but big hits for both of them, and Warren's out. Warren might be able to get back in. I think he's got a faster pair in the bank. Curtis, I'm not sure on. We'll get one more look at it here. We'll get a few more looks at it, of course. This is right in front of Ross Harlow. Ross makes it through. He's fifth now, and then there's just this contact. I think they just turn into each other. Warren goes up, Curtis comes down, and most of the field gets by unscathed.
Harlow made it through that?
I think so. I mean, he's in fifth. I guess we'll find out.
Well, let's see how it happened here.
He could have damage just in the pacing field. I was just going off the timing and scoring. He's still in fifth place and has not pitted. Yeah, that's a bit of damage there to the wing.
It's not pretty.
That's going to be difficult to restart with. He's got a faster pair. Honestly, I'm not actually sure. You're in the session. You could tell me. Do we have overtime? Do we have green, white checkers? Because that could, I guess, dictate what he does.
Don't see anything in the information tab.
So in a race where we might not, I mean, if it's IndyCar style, we won't have a green, white checkered. And that would definitely, I think, cause Ross to stay out. I think if we had green, white checkers, that would change things. But I think definitely being dictated by that alone. 5 laps to go this time by. And I don't think we're getting the 1 to green. Yeah, not 1 to green just yet. So 2 to green at least, if not 3. As we've seen cautions go on for a while here. At least 2 to green. We're going to have 3 laps to go with the restart? Does that sound right?
Yeah, and I mean, who says you make it all 3 laps?
Oh, man. Yeah, we could be talking about finishing this race under yellow. I would imagine Dakota Curtis would give these guys green, white checkers, but we just don't know for sure at the moment. You know what? Actually, I'm sure the Discord will tell us, and I think that's why we're getting the angry message, yes. Warren Kalki telling me, yes, we do have 3 green, white checkers. He's listening. As he had a faster car, I believe, in the bank, and he is back out there. So he is not done, car 42. But for a moment there, it looked pretty bad.
Now, I mean, I know we keep dwindling this field. I don't think he's going to have the time to make up that many spots. I mean, who knows? Anything can, and I guess anything will happen in racing. Man, 50, that seems like a hefty amount of spots.
They all clean themselves out and on the white flag. I mean, the seas are going to part, and especially with 3 restarts, well, at least 4 potential, I guess a maximum of 4 restarts that we could have. I think would be the best way to say that. The race isn't over for anybody in this field. Nobody's out of this just yet. Aside from those that are actually physically disconnected now. So Lawson Peel, your race leader, Austin Reedy second, Ryan Kendall third, then Parker Bland. And it looks like Ross Harlow takes it into the 5th spot here. The track temp has come down a little bit, Emerson, down to 116. You think that's changing anything out there for these guys?
Well, these boys are going to feel more grip. Certainly, if their tires are struggling for grip, it's not struggling as bad as it was if it was 123 Fahrenheit. But these guys, a quarter of the race under yellow.
Yeah, but it's been fantastic. This has been a really, really good race. I think a pretty solid attempt. Not even attempt, a pretty solid run for an all-star race here, especially going a little bit out of the box. I really commend Dakota Curtis and everybody else at the MPI Cup Series for making this one happen as it's been. It's been really, really fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself here in the booth tonight. It's been fun. A big shout-out to MPI, Auto Tempest, SimMax for allowing this series to happen and supporting this series in so many ways. I know we get back to points racing next week, Emerson, but I wouldn't be sad if we instead ran an Indy 500 on Sunday. I wouldn't be sad, but here we go to the restart zone, potentially for the final time this evening. Lawson Peel, another great restart. Reedy, a little sideways. Mahar sends, I think that's Brown, into the grass, but we stay green. Up front, oh, a crash! Into the air goes Ross Harlow! Taking after Elon Musk, he went for space, but doesn't quite take off quite as much as he wanted to. Or needed to. I don't think he wanted to do that at all, but that car was in the air.
This is the first attempt of 3 potential green-white checkers.
Wow. Oh, Garrett Brown, well, he decided to spin again for good measure. Harlow into the wall again, and he will call it a day. He does have a fast spare. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to tow to the pit lane fast enough to actually use it for anything, but that is a really, really rough way to go out.
It's your second place starter, Andrew.
Yeah, breaking the trend. Maybe. Breaking the trend as far as races as a whole, but the points trend is still alive. The points race trend is still alive. Racing with Ryan Kendall out of turn 2, and Parker Bland, and I think just gets tight maybe. Yeah, and gets hit. I think maybe went up. My goodness. I've never seen such a good look at the iRacing Sun before.
No. The stratosphere is where that car was looking to go.
Infinity and beyond.
Yep.
Out of turn 2, that was Progar up top, and oh my goodness. You can see the air really into that car as soon as it got up in the air, and just keep that car suspended for a moment. There was a moment where it was just there and flying properly, but comes back down on its lid. Well, lack thereof. Lack the other. Here's Chris Progar's view.
Progar got the run.
Man, so close.
I don't even know if he really even put his nose in there. I think they just kind of met. Yeah, there was also chaos on the restart as well. But wow.
One more time here. I really want to show just how that car gets suspended in the air for a moment. Ross Harlow, watch this out of turn 2, and we'll even slow it down for you. As soon as the air catches the underside of that car, Emerson, it just holds it up there like a feather. Just sets sail. I mean, that is just, wow.
Well, you know, these wings weren't meant for flying, but
they certainly work.
Well, yeah. Kept them off the ground for an extra second.
It just delayed the inevitable of that car coming crashing down. You mentioned the restart. There were issues for Garrett Brown and Austin Reedy. Or, no, well, yeah, Austin Reedy gets loose, but really Garrett Brown is the one that takes a hit out of this. Garrett Brown in car 16 back here. It was Mahar who got loose, that's right, and sends the 16 down into the grass.
Well, he got, I guess, saved by the yellow there on the back straightaway.
Yeah, he would have been in that range to be included in that, so honestly, he might want to go up there and thank Joseph if he gets a chance. We are still under yellow and no caution lights have been extinguished. We say we dial up potentially Parker Bland maybe in car 01, which is the fight. He's down there with the Sega Keith crew. And Parker, I know you got your first really good experience with IndyCars this week on Wednesday, but it seems like you had another one out there. Third place as we come to our first green light checkout attempt. What's the plan?
Just hope we don't spit it on the restart and see if I have a shot.
You say that, and then you gave me a scare for a moment there with the rear tires, lighting them up. How difficult is it on these restarts to get actual traction?
I haven't had any difficulty, but it's really scary when, like, every time we restarted, I think the person in front of me has spun their tires, so I don't know how I've gotten lucky and missed it all.
Yeah, it's been wild on these restarts. How'd you miss that crash right there? You were right around it with Ross Harlow, and how have you missed these crashes in general? It's been wild out there tonight. That
one in turn 4, I don't know how I kept it on the apron to avoid that, and when Ross got spun, I just looked in my mirror and saw his car upside down in the fence. I don't know how close that one was.
Now, how about this paint scheme? I know you had a post out there on socials about it. It's a bit different, definitely taking some inspiration from, I think, kind of a cool thing for yourself.
Oh yeah, I just have, basically GTA has like this exact model in online, so I basically just took the paint I have on that because I thought it looked kind of cool, fitting.
All right, what's the plan here? 2 laps to go. Do you go high, go low, middle? Do you just drive through Lawson Peel on the restart? What's the idea here?
Austin Reedy doesn't seem like he's getting good restarts, so I'm gonna hope he doesn't get a good restart, and maybe I can take the high line, coming to the white. I'm not really too sure, but we'll see what happens.
All right, Parker, I hope I'm not jinxing you here. I'll even give you a customary knock on wood quickly, but best luck to you here on this restart, and go get us a win.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try.
Parker Bland from position number 3, gonna have a good shot here, Emerson. You know, I really wonder if we get down to the last restart and you're third place, if you just light the tires up a little bit early, give that guy a push that's in front of you and kind of get him up off the ground. Does that just win you the race? Go ahead and spin the guy that's first off the restart and bring out a yellow. I mean, it's an idea. I don't know that anybody should do it, but it's an idea.
You know, you really catch that, that first place guy on that final green white checkered. Cost carnage behind you as long as you're the first one at the scoring line, or whatever scoring line freezes the field. That's a tactic.
I'm not saying you should, but it's an idea for these guys. Hopefully nobody's listening to it, as here we go. Lawson Peel will lead us down to the green flag one more time. Big shout out to Ed Scherer on social media this evening. I'm sure he's getting a lot of good content from this, as we'll have some more green flag back out. It's a green-white checkered in the All-Star race at Texas. Parker Bland goes through to the second spot. Austin Reedy going to fight back down to the inside of car 01. It's a battle down to turn 3.
Reedy's going to stick it down on the inside. Bland has to file in behind. It's double wide for 4th, and here comes Lawson Peel.
White flag presented by Whiplash Simcams in the MPI Cup Series All-Star Race at Texas Motor Speedway. Lawson Peel is maybe about to go back-to-back. Won at Kansas Speedway a week ago to get his second win on the season. The first one came through contact with Mario Miranda at COTA. Now he's going to make himself $1 million not richer by winning the MPI Cup Series All-Star Race at Texas. Congratulations, Lawson Peel. And purple on that last lap as well.
Just to add to it, he was ready for them boys on that final restart. Austin Reedy, a brilliant performance, by the way, to come from, we're at 20th?
20th, yeah.
To second. What a job for him. Lawson Peel. Way to stay calm, cool, collected all day long.
Unlike the Cowboys. Gonna let that one marinate.
Yeah, I got nothing to say.
Well, Austin Peel, properly a really good run today. This is really solid. He was, I think, in the top 3 the entire day, aside from when he went and pitted off sequence and dropped himself to 9th. I think he was in the top 3 otherwise the entire day. He started 3rd, just always was there. Honestly, it feels a bit like Kansas last week.
Yeah, he didn't dominate, but he was up there all day, and he dominated when he had to. He kind of, last week at Kansas, he kind of let Mario Miranda take that 3rd stage up until when he wanted to take it, and he said, "Thank you very much. I'll take this race all the way home." That's kind of what he did today, except well, he didn't really take this one. It kind of went all around him.
It was a lot of fun here at Texas, and driver 53 is ready to go ahead and break this one down. Lawson, 22 laps led, and for the second week in a row, you're going to MPI Cup Series victory lane, albeit in a different form this week, in an Indy car for the All-Star race. How'd you do it?
I don't know. Certainly, just had to learn a lot over the course of the race there. The aero is insane. So it's such a huge difference when you're behind somebody versus not. So you as you saw, when Ross got out there at that first run, you couldn't even get close to him unless he caught somebody. So, had to find a way to win it on strategy. So I think that's how we got it done. Came in, had to find a way to beat him. So I took tires there with when we had about 10 laps on them. Came out. First car on tires, had an incident and had to take the fast repair, but was still able to get back up there, so that was awesome.
Yeah, we saw the tire debate certainly unfold before us. What was the idea going into all of that? I know it's never easy to pick out exactly when to pit, especially on these, we had a green run to start the race, and you just never really know when that last caution is going to come out, when you should pit. How do you make that decision?
I don't know. It was just kind of luck, and just take a gamble. I didn't have a plan or any kind of strategy, anything like that. Just when the caution came out, just kind of make a on the fly call, and once Reedy got by me there and drove away, I was like, man, I don't think I'm going to be able to just run those guys back down and pass them. So I kind of just wanted to do the opposite there, and figured that was the best way to give myself a chance.
And we talked all night about how different these cars are compared to the new IR18s, and how different, of course, they are to your normal machine on Sunday evenings, the NASCAR Next Gen vehicle. How big of an adjustment is this? Obviously, it's completely different, but it seemed like you did pretty well.
Yeah, I guess it could be worse, but it's a big difference. Like I said, the aero is just insane, and thankfully, Texas is probably not the hardest track for us to run these on. We probably would have had some pretty big challenges running on a harder track. So you can mat it through 3 and 4 in clean air, but it's easy to make the mistake of feeling like you can do that when you're within like a half second of somebody, because you cannot. I mean, you will just slide. And I about took Swavely out. After that restart, I just got so tight under him, and I thought I was going to hit him for sure. I don't know how I didn't. And then, I think same thing happened to him. And so it's just, I'm not used to the side-by-side racing and the tight quarters racing in these things. It's tough. I was just trying to survive and, not cause any incidents, because I wasn't all that confident in myself being able to do it. But was able to learn, a lot that first 50 laps as I was, riding behind Ross Harlow there. And how I was able to kind of gain some ground on him, and then you get to a point where you just stall out and you can't go any further. So, kind of learned a lot there, and it was either you got to get him on a restart or on strategy.
Now, be honest with me here. How much did you panic when you got taken out taken out there by Richard Swavely? If I can ever get the words correct, how much did you panic?
Not too bad. I've certainly been known to panic worse. I knew I could still take the faster. We had a fast repair tonight. Ordinarily, we don't. So it makes it a little different. Was able to get a new car, and I felt like maybe those guys would come in and take tires, and I could just stay out, and that's exactly what happened. So was able to just get the car fixed and then assume the lead by virtue of staying out when those guys pitted. So it just kind of all worked out.
And now back to the normal season, and then we'll let you go this evening, let you celebrate this one. Back to the season here. Charlotte next week. Of course, no points tonight. I think some guys are glad about that. Maybe you wish there were some points, but you just won at Kansas. You won at Coda earlier in the season. You feel like this is your stretch of races where you can really get into a groove, and you've driven through the field in the point standing so far. You're nearly into that top 5. How do you approach Charlotte? How do you go out there and execute?
Well, I'm looking forward to Charlotte. I like all the ovals, and Charlotte's certainly one of those. So hopefully I can, come out and be competitive like I was at Kansas. Yeah, but we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the season here, and certainly getting hot. So that feels good to get a couple of wins. And this was all for fun, and so I'm not thinking about, if there was points or not tonight. It was just come out here and try something different. And, it was fun. I had a good time. So I'm glad that it was a good race. But yeah, looking forward to Charlotte and all the ovals coming up after that, because that's those are the ones I get excited about.
And I'll even correct myself, now into 5th by 2 points over Garrett Brown. Looking pretty good as we go into the mid-season stretch here through the summer. Lawson, congratulations this evening. You're $1 million, not richer, unfortunately, but certainly a good effort regardless. We'll be talking to you, I'm sure, next week at Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm going to have to talk to Dakota about getting that check next week. So
Can we get 1 million
hit him up.
pennies, maybe? Is that more appropriate?
Yeah. Appreciate it, Andrew. Appreciate it.
And we'll see you,
Hey, y'all have a good one.
Maybe 1 million tenths of a penny, or 1 million hundredths of a penny, something like that. $1 million in Monopoly money wouldn't be bad either. If Dakota could present a check for $1 million in Monopoly money and deliver with a briefcase of it, I think I'd be on board with that. But big time congratulations here, Lawson, this evening, getting the job done at Texas. Our unofficial race results, well, I don't think this will really be contested too much. Lawson Peel goes first over Austin Reedy. Ryan Kendall third. Chris Progar and Justin Erb complete our top 5 this evening. You can see our couple of brand new additions to the team from Wednesday going after it there, 5th and 6th. A big shout out to Justin and Parker again. Richard Swavely, though, goes 7th place. Joseph Mahar 8th. Dustin Reeves 9th. And Justin Hendry ekes out a top 10.
This next page, oh man, Garrett Brown in 11th, Bill Schoonover 12th, Warren Cal Keefe in 13th. That's by no means telling where he should have been today. Charles Phelps in 14th, Cody Kinsey, the last car to finish. I guess the last car to finish today. There in 15th, 3.5 seconds off the pace. Curtis Kelly ends up 16th, 2 laps down. Ross Harlow took a flight down the back straightaway, 17th, 7 laps down. Alex Muscarella ended his day early, 18, 14 laps down. Sean Kalis at 19, 25 down, and Dakota Curtis 20th, 30 down.
Finishing 21st this evening, Austin Shoemaker in car 14. Chris Shoemaker just behind him. Then James Kunkel, Brian Curry, Ray Rogers, Kip Easley, and Brandon Banks before Travis Stevens, who did not make the call for the start of the race, 105 laps down, although really 104. All these guys taking DNFs earlier on in the event. That is it for racing coverage, but we've got some post-race coverage up here in just a few moments. Stick with us here at PitStop TV. We'll be talking to a few drivers on the far side of this quick break.
Is that I own MPI, the steering wheel company, and I'm building the steering wheel. This is my creation.
This is yours.
Yes.
It's so sexy.
The steering wheel, it's a very unique thing. It's shaped on the hand of Scott Dixon.
His hand.
Yeah. This grip has 27% more grip feel than suede. Scott in the race is gonna make less effort when he drives. When you're in the car, it's like lifting, it's like having 40-pound dumbbell like this, maybe more in the car.
For how long?
3.5 hours. You know, average heart rate in the car, never below 150. Never below 150. You need to be a real athlete to drive. Yeah. They exercise every day. So this is my creation.
Amazing.
And we did.
Fuller.
Yeah.
Needed F-150 for Smith build.
Got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide, even those classified sites. Auto Tempest, all the cars, one search. That's how I do it.
Welcome back to the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. 100 laps of racing in the books here for the MPI Cup Series All-Star Race, and it was all stars out there for a lot of these guys after their big crashes, but the cars were certainly going fast, and I mean, seriously, again, props to Lawson Peel holding on there. I know the restarts here, the leader, the advantage, but he still had to hang on and had to execute those last few laps. Emerson really doing a fantastic job over second place, which goes to Austin Reedy this evening. Here is driver of the 96.
And let's talk about a wild run today. Austin, you started 20th today on the grid. Ended up in second. Working through the field, it gets really difficult after a few laps on these tires, but it seemed like you were steadily working your way forward. What was that run like?
It was definitely super difficult trying to learn how the air worked in these things, how to build a run and get around people. Early in the run, it was definitely a lot easier with fresher tires. You could really dive it a lot deeper and drive it off a lot harder, but late in the run, I kind of figured out you gotta move it up just a little bit, try to keep that nose clean of that dirty air, and just build your runs that way, maybe running a lane up or a lane down, do something the guy in front of you isn't doing.
So a great run for you. We've missed you the past couple weeks in MPI. Are we going to see, I guess, on a more regular basis in the coming weeks?
Yeah, I just missed last week because of work, but I'll be here probably every race to the end here now, so try to get back in our rhythm. We started out strong in the regular season for those 2 in a row in the beginning, and couple top 3s, couple top 5s, but the last couple races, I think I got to get my stuff together and figure out what I'm doing wrong. I think more patience on the track will pay off, and just hope to stay out of trouble here in this next second half.
Well, Austin, again, congratulations on a stellar run from 20th to 2nd tonight. Best of luck to you next week at Charlotte, and hopefully we're talking to you then, man.
All right, thank you, guys.
Austin Reedy this evening going second place at Texas. Third, though, goes to Ryan Kendall, somebody who restarted 4th on that last restart, the green-white checkered. And Ryan, I'd have to imagine it was nerve-wracking, especially with the restart issues, trying to get the power down in first gear. What was your game plan? What did you do on that last restart to go third?
Yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking. I kind of short-shifted a little bit, and I shifted a little too soon there and didn't get quite the run going down the backstretch I wanted. Parker was able to jump me, but I was trying to stay off my teammate Austin. We were trying to draft and get up there and take the lead, but it just didn't work out quite like that. But, it didn't wreck, and I'll take a 3rd place finish there.
I know this is a big detour from normal MPI competition, but back to the Cup cars next weekend at Charlotte. How do you approach Charlotte? I think race 13 out of 35, and we're getting right to the middle portion of our regular season.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different running the Cup cars in this. I think there's going to be a lot more tire saving, where tonight, it was fun. It was kind of just wide open downforce racing, and you kind of just attack tonight, where I think next week you're going to see a lot of guys. You're going to see comers and goers. You're going to see guys pushing. You're going to see guys saving. A lot different style racing with the NASCAR cars.
Well, Ryan, really good job out there this evening. As low as 25th, you started 14th, you finished 3rd place. Even though you're not getting the big bragging rights out front, that's got to feel pretty good. Something to hang your hat on, certainly, in these Indy cars. Congratulations this evening on the top 3. We'll talk to you potentially next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Ryan Kendall getting things done, a 3rd place effort. Pretty solid for car 68. And it sounds like teammates to Austin Reedy did not know that one, Emerson. But on down the order, somebody who had a rough and tumble evening, and we saw in multiple aspects, is Richard Swavely, who put the car on pole in qualifying.
And we have our pole sitter here, Richard Swavely. Unfortunately, got no laps led with that. It was chasing Ross Harlow from the get-go, and unfortunately got involved in a couple incidents today, but very fast at qualifying. What happened there in the race?
I think it's part of doing the Fix Indy 500 last week, and I was just so used to how the arrow works in the IR18. I just couldn't figure it out with these older cars. It just took me to like the end of the race to actually figure out how to pass people and get runs going on there.
There was a couple incidents you had gotten into. What kind of happened from your perspective, I guess? It looked like there's a lot of cars just well, not only flying on the track, but flying above the track today.
Yeah, this the DW12 is kind of it's on the older damage model, and I think it's on a couple variants of the older damage model, so it gets a little weird when things happen in these cars, but I know my wrecks, one of them was kind of my fault, and just a lot of aero wash was a lot of the issues out there.
Back in the stock cars next week. How do you feel about Charlotte?
I'm not the best at intermediate tracks, but if there's one that I like going to, I really enjoy Charlotte, so I've had a couple good runs there previous seasons, the old Gen 6, so I kind of having a rough run wrapping my head around the next gens, but we'll get her figured out. Hopefully we'll be talking to you guys again next week.
Right on. Again, congratulations, Richard. Well, I guess coming home, bringing it home, because that was tough. But yeah, thanks for your time, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, I think I passed a lot of cars today, and so finished in 7th.
Richard Swavely goes 7th position this evening. A really good job for car 32, and we definitely thank everybody for their time after this one. I know guys want to maybe check on the NASCAR All-Star race. No spoilers here, but probably want to go check on that, do whatever this evening, so we really appreciate your guys' time, you drivers out there that hung with us. That said, Emerson, 100 laps of racing plus a few extra at Texas in the books, and I'd say that was an experiment well done here for Dakota Curtis in the MPI Cup Series. I loved this.
It was pretty good, wasn't it? We got these drivers out of their comfort zone, certainly. Unfortunately, there's a couple of times where we saw these drivers struggle, and I guess it's going to happen when you put them in a car that they haven't really driven before, or they don't drive that often. But yeah, it was a great race, pretty entertaining, and chaotic. And I guess when there's nothing but pride on the line, why not go for a chaotic race?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I think maybe shorten it up by maybe 20 laps just to give a little more urgency to these guys, but otherwise, I thought everything was pretty perfect. I wouldn't mind just for aesthetic's sake seeing a bit of nighttime racing, but otherwise, hats off to Dakota Curtis. Everybody made this one work. The drivers as well as... let's take a look at the driver standings, actually, going into next week. We don't usually take a look at points after a race, but here we go. Mario Miranda into Charlotte next week, a 50-point lead over Steven Stempian. Joe Sanchez, Alex Pasquarello, Lawson Peel, Garrett Brown. They're in the neighborhood, but a little ways back, although they could start to turn something around here. Emerson, we know being first at the end of the regular season means something. These guys might be able to start turning their tides here soon if they can get to that 99 car next week.
Absolutely, and again, we saw, I know last week, he was fast, of course, he led a lot of laps, but out by the wall, it just takes one mistake, and if you're right there to capitalize on it, you're absolutely in position. 50 points, that seems like a lot, but we still have a lot of races to go.
Yeah, we're only through 12 races of 35 and 12 of 26, or I think 25 rather, in the regular season. So we're literally at that halfway. In fact, Charlotte next week marks exactly halfway in the regular season, somewhere around halfway in the race. We'll actually be halfway technically. So this is go time for these guys. Any messing around to this point has to go out the window now. You've got to buckle down, get after it, and really execute these next few races, especially if you're down around that cut line. The bottom 5 of the right side of this graphic, Emerson, Dakota Curtis through Ray Rogers, are separated by just 12 points, and it's only 5 more to Austin Shoemaker in 15th. They are very, very tight right there battling for that cut line, and really, Shoemaker is the cut line.
Yeah, certainly, and again, anything can happen. One little pop of the wall, and all of a sudden you find yourself maybe 15th or 16th down 20th, maybe even 21st. So it really is all about perfection. If you're around that cut line, there's probably been some unfortunate circumstances that you're down there, but now it's time to tighten up. And if you're gonna make it to the playoffs, you got to drive like a playoff driver here in these next 12.
With the All-Star race behind us, some upcoming broadcasts here at PitStop TV. There are plenty of them this week as we wrap up a season of really fun racing, exciting times with BSR. The British Sim Racers is Sebring for both series on Tuesday and Thursday with the Mazda Miatas and the Touring cars. Both broadcasts at 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern. just one on Tuesday, one on Thursday. It's round 10 of 10 for each of them. And Emerson, I'm sure you can tell us a whole lot about the Outlaw Sim Series headed to Indianapolis Raceway Park this Wednesday.
Absolutely. We went from a wild show at Martinsville where Zoltan Herkzeg got his second win on the season to Indianapolis Raceway Park, formerly known as Lucas Oil, a fun track. It's not often that you get a short track that is primarily top side. It's going to be fun. We've ran there once before, the Outlaw Sim Series in the Xfinity cars, and there was chaos as expected and some insane racing. I can't wait to see how these boys are able to handle Lucas Oil with these next-gen cars.
Well, it's Indianapolis Raceway Park now.
And the IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park, in these next-gen cars.
Yeah, back to the old name. I love that. I really hope this brings it back into the forefront of NASCAR. It's back on the truck schedule this season. What they're doing there, with the help of Lucas Oil, still a name, a big name partner with IRP. They're kind of embracing their roots. They're getting back to having NASCAR racing there. That's so huge, I think, for IRP, and just bring it back, like I said, into the forefront of racing as a whole, especially in the NASCAR National Series, be it Cup, Xfinity, or Truck. And man, I would love to see Cup racing there, especially with these next gen cars. So maybe Wednesday as a preview of what we could see in a few years. Wouldn't that be something? Plenty of places to watch and join the conversation with PitStop TV. Follow along with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. You can see the links down below of where you need to go, and the usernames as well. Of course, if you just type in the username between the slashes, it will get you to where you need to go. On Facebook, it's /PitStop TV. On Twitter, it's PitStop TV _. Instagram and Twitch are Pit_Stop_TV. And YouTube is, well, PitStop TV 1. So, yeah. A lot of places to watch and some great tracks coming up. Sebring twice this week, Indianapolis Raceway Park in the middle, and then, of course, we go to Charlotte Motor Speedway on the weekend with the MPI Cup Series. So a lot of places to keep up with PitStop TV, and you definitely should for a lot of great racing. That will do it, though. Emerson, any more final thoughts?
I mean, it was a great night. Wild racing. I am entertained. And, yeah, let's bring on Charlotte.
I was definitely entertained tonight. You can see the racing out of turn 4. This is right off of the restart for that green-white checkered. It was so close. Maybe not for the race leader. Maybe try and standardize the restarts just for that one purpose. But otherwise, this was fantastic. Fantastic all-star race. Seriously, props all around to everybody at the MPI Cup Series, and a big shout out to all of our partners with the MPI Cup Series as well. Of course, Max Pappas Innovations, Auto Tempest, SimMax, all pitching in and doing their big part in allowing this series to even happen in the first place. It's really big what they're able to do, and this series is flourishing, I think, as a result of it. I think really could go some big places on iRacing, and already is going big places, and we're so thankful to be a big part of it. A big shout out to our members here of the crew this evening. Emerson Arden and Ed Schurer joining me for coverage. Emerson on the mic, Ed on social media coverage. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. We've got a lot of other great people, and if you want to join that big team of people doing great broadcast work here on iRacing, go ahead and email me directly at andrew@pitstoptv.com. Otherwise, we will see you all in the future, hopefully Tuesday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for BSR Trophy Tuesdays from Sebring. Until then, though, have a great night, and we'll see you there.